How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I actually wanted to talk about what it's just genuinely like, being 20 years old, netting $60,000 to $80,000 a month in my business. And I just wanted to be just completely transparent. I just wanted to share my thoughts. This is just a very transparent video. I think a lot of people, most people in the agency space or the online business space in general, they're not fully transparent about what happens behind the scenes, what it's actually like, or what actually goes on. And a couple of the topics that I wanted to hit that I get asked a lot about is, interestingly enough, it's dating. So that's something I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about dating and my relationships and stuff like that, without using any names or anything, just out of security purposes. But I'm probably going to have my girlfriend on the channel soon for an interview, which will be a lot of fun. Another thing I want to talk about is expectations. Because obviously I started off following a lot of the people. You watching me now is a very similar version of me watching people when I was getting started, and I saw them with a nice place, for example, or a nice car, or nice watches or whatever, and that was what appealed me. That's what got me going in the first place. And I just want to talk about that. I want to talk about expectations. And I just want to talk about how amazing it is. Obviously, it's freaking insane, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I do want to just, level with everybody. What it's actually like. Dating, expectations, daily routines, what I actually do, what it feels like, how my mental state and how things go. So, yeah, I'll start with the top, which is dating. And I'll just hit this kind of briefly. Basically, obviously it gets easier once you have some proof that you're doing well for yourself, but until then you are perceived as super cocky. And that was something at least that happened to me, because I had this idea that I kind of knew I was going to succeed. I saw the numbers, I saw my income steadily increasing, and I didn't really know how to handle that at the time. I kind of thought well, the way to be is to be cocky. That's a natural extension of being successful, is to be cocky. But then I realized that, in all reality, it actually hurts your ability to succeed wildly when you are being a jerk. So that was the first thing I had to really fix about myself, was that I had to really work on being cocky. And once I did that, I started having really genuine relationships with everybody in my life, and that extends obviously out into women in dating. And currently right now I date a girl. She's friggin' amazing. Her name's Lily. And you're gonna wanna find a girl that doesn't need you to succeed and isn't expecting you to succeed and wants to feed off of that, but is excited for you. And that's what I have, and that's really cool. I dated another girl before. Her name's Stephanie, and she's a great girl. It just, things didn't click. And a lot of what happened for me was, there were just family issues and things like that got in the way, and it just, it didn't work out. And so in general, people in your life are going to want to be around people who are genuine. And you can't let entrepreneurship be an excuse to not be a genuine human being. I don't care how much money you make, you're no better than anyone, right? And that's something I really had to internalize. We're all equal. The only reason that my money makes me any better, quote unquote, than anybody else is simply because, other human beings see the value in money, and because they see the value in money, therefore my money has value. So my value is completely and totally, at least when I was cocky, I wish I could tell myself this, the cockiness that you have, the arrogance that you have, is fueled completely by a belief that other humans have regarding money. And so I had to get over that really quickly. And actually, honestly, that was when I was at 20 grand a month-ish. Being 20 years old, making $20,000 a month, you think you're a baller. You honestly do. And I had to really snap out of that. And the way I did it was by increasing my the circle that I run in. I started hanging around people who were making 100, 200 grand a month. And honestly, I haven't met a single one that isn't just a genuinely good dude. I haven't met a single one. They're all just brilliant, easy to talk to, passionate people. And so I realized that I needed to stop being so self-seeking and start honestly enjoying seeing clients and students succeed. And that's when things change. That's, I honestly made a huge jump recently in that. And I basically, I took a break for like 2 weeks. This was when Corona first hit. So Corona hits, and I took a break for like 2 weeks, and I even moved back home. So I moved back to the basement that I started everything in. So I was out of this place. I was back with my family, my parents, my 3 brothers, and my sister. And, I basically said, all right, I'm going to forget the entrepreneur identity for a sec. I went back to, staying up late, eating like crap, playing video games and everything. And I basically said, I'm going to let go of this so that I can come back to it better. And that's what I did. And I remember the last day of being at the house, I said I'm going to give myself 2 weeks. Last day of being at the house, I spent the whole day just in prayer and meditating. I'm just saying, like, why am I doing this? And that's when I realized that I'm really just doing it because I want to live a meaningful life. And I want to do things for people that reflect, the gifts that I've been given, and just have meaning, like abundant meaning about me. And so that's when I realized, like, entrepreneurship just isn't so much about the money in your bank. It's more about, like, the meaning you bring to the world. And what's interesting is, as a result of that, I did make more money. And you'll find the same thing. Like, once you really detach from money, it's actually way easier to make. Money's not hard. Money's the easy part. The hard part is you. The hard part is what's going on in your head, and how do you conquer all these selfish, ego-driven things that you want. So once you get over that, it gets really easy. So that's that. It's interesting that dating turned into that conversation, but that's dating. That's, the inner dialogue that goes on in your head. Now I just want to talk about, like, the benefits, like the huge, massive benefits that I experienced as a 20-year-old entrepreneur, nearly, edging on 7 figures yearly in my business. And so the first benefit is that I can honestly say that I will never worry about money. I can honestly say that. And I can also honestly say that if my bank account's ever at zero, I won't feel broke in the slightest, because I've built assets. Like, if I were to sell this business right here, if I were to sell the education business, which I can't because it's very much driven by me and I'm aware of that, I'm not planning on selling it, I could sell it. Honestly, it could be valuated at like $1 to at least $2 million, at least. The agency, probably 1.2, right? The assets that we've built there, the client attraction systems I've got, and I've actually invested into a new program which teaches you how to build like a passionate team. So, like, my goal is to basically have like a team of young guys that hold each other to a high standard in life and in business. And that team runs my agency, and we're at, multiple 7 figures. That's my goal by the end of 2021, is to have a real team and to be consistently just crushing it in my agency. So, that's that. It's like a $15,000 program that I popped into just now. So it's pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to that. It's all about leadership and team building and these sorts of things. You move from being like a technician and like a promoter to like a leader. And that's the transition I'm trying to make right now in my business. And honestly, revenue's a little bit down, like this month specifically, because I'm making those moves. I haven't been so much on sales calls. I've been more on like studying team management and who goes where, and learning from this program and all that good stuff. But the benefits are, honestly, I won't ever worry about money. Like, I honestly feel like money's easy. Money is easy. Like 10, 20, 30 grand is easy, and that's more than enough to never have to worry about money, as long as I maintain lifestyle. So I don't see myself ever having a better lifestyle than what I have now, just on a financial level. Right now, I probably spend about $4,000 a month on personal expenses, or probably more like $5,000 a month actually, when I'm thinking about it, because this apartment's $3,500. Then I've got my car, which is I think $300 a month, plus insurance about $400, because I've gotten a couple speeding tickets, and then I've got like life insurance and different forms of insurance, renter's insurance. I've got like food, stuff like that. I cook for myself mostly. I've got a lot of meats and greens in the fridge. So just like, I've got like salmon right here, and like some chicken, more chicken breast, more salmon, lots of greens, broccoli. Yeah. The only thing that I really splurge on is coffee. I'll drink a lot of coffee because I'm kind of addicted to coffee, I'll be honest. It's not good, but I love it. It's good energy. And, it reminds me of my mom too, so, because she used to really like coffee. So And yeah, it's really sweet. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's the benefit. Like, honestly, I don't think I'll ever worry about money. Do people look at me different? Absolutely. For example, this girl I'm dating now, it's funny, I met her through a Monday evening Bible study that I go to. And I meet her and she's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I run a marketing agency and an education business where I kind of coach people on starting their own business. And she was like, oh, cool, all right. And she reflected and she told me that she literally thought I was like a punk. She's like, oh, one of these, got it. One of these like wannabe entrepreneur punk 20-year-old kids. And I didn't, for a solid month or 2 months while I was getting to know her, really like tell her or show her like how well I was doing, or like I tried to just be very formal with her and make sure that, we connected before I like brought her here. But then I bring her here and she's like, frick, like she realized that this is a legit thing. It's a real operation I have going. And that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, do people look at you differently? Absolutely. So you have to really manage that. Like, I think if you have a big ego, it's like really cool. It's like really cool to have everybody kind of like looking at you like, whoa, like, look at him and his cool like apartment and like all the stuff he has and a nice car. But eventually you just get over that because you realize that it actually disconnects you from people. And that's a hard thing to realize, is that a lot of the goals that you had at some point actually don't serve you. And so I had to get over that. And so really, this apartment, nice watches, I enjoy all of it. I love all of it. Now, I will continue to buy nice timepieces. I'm developing a great relationship with my Rolex dealer. My apartment, I probably will sign another lease on it once this lease is up, which is up in like 8 or 9 months. Not actually sure. But like, is it the point? No. And should you have to manage it? Yeah, 100%. Like, you have to, again, keep your head in the right place. Despite having a nice place, despite having a lot of money, I don't blow it on crap. I put it all, if it's not into the apartment or watches or various important personal expenses, it's back into the business. Like, my business has cash just stacked. It's just got so much cash in it, and I don't know what to do with it sometimes. And that's where you want to be. You want to be figuring out, like, posts that I'll make into Facebook groups that I'm in from people I'm learning from. I'll be like, hey, I've got X amount of money. Like, I'll say I have like 20 grand like right now that I don't even know what to do with. Where should it go? Like, where should it go to another team member? Should it go to ads? Should it go to, like, that's where you want to be. How do I use this money to continue to grow this thing? Like, how do I turn this 20 into 35 or 40? And I've just continued to ask myself that time and time and time again. And that's, an important reason as to why I'm here right now. So yeah, that's an important distinction. Like, you're gonna blow a little bit of money personally, but I like watches because you can actually sell them and keep all your money. Like, this watch, I bought it for $17,000 and it goes on the aftermarket for like 21 to 22,000. So immediately I profited like $5,000 at least by buying it. And that goes with my date just as well and other things. And this apartment right here, it's built me so much authority. It's insane. It's insane how much money this apartment has made me in the agency and in the education business, because, prospect for the agency, for example, hops on a sales call, and I'm not even kidding, I will tilt my webcam a little bit so it's kind of like this, and they kind of see the stairs and they kind of see the cool upstairs and stuff like that. And it's just another level of social proof. Like, that's what it is. It's authority. And so that way, even if I did reach out to them, they come onto the meeting and they kind of like, they're in just some office, and so they're like, oh, it's like a young kid with a nice apartment and they don't really know how to treat it. So it gives me that like alpha role on the sales call, and I can leverage that. And so my sales rates went way up when I got this place. So even personal expenses that are technically personal expenses, like, still help the business. So, yeah, I'm kind of rambling on. I hope that's okay. I don't really have like a specific bullet point list. I just want to share like what it's like to be at a level that I'm at. Another thing is, what I do with like profits. Right now, again, they all stay in the business. People will say, put it into real estate. People will say, put it into different like funds. The only thing that I am doing is I have a monthly just spout of money going into global index funds, the Eurodex, S&P 500, and I don't know, I forget what the one for like the Asian countries are. But I have money spreading out across there, just under $1,000 a month, just going there. I bet you that's worth like 15, 20 grand now. And I'm reinvesting profits, and it's going to compound out. And so by the time I'm like 50 or 60, it should be worth 8 to 10 million, which would be nice. But that's like the only investment that I'm making is that. Everything else, every other piece of cash, pretty much technically goes right back into the business. And I include this apartment in that, even though it's on paper a personal expense. So every piece of money that I make has gone back into the business, and again, that still includes watches because they're an investment. I could sell it and make $5,000. So yeah, like you don't want to do things that like, just there's no reason to blow money. Like there's this whole stereotype that like, those who are making a lot of money, like go out and they like party and like, like especially young 20-year-old kids. I think that's a huge stereotype. I don't believe in that at all. I've got a lot of people on my network in that 19 to 24 age bracket who are honestly like the most humble people I've met. And they recognize that they've built something off the backs of giants. And that's really something that I internalize too, is that everything that I've built because of the help that I've gotten from people that have helped me get here. Like this isn't really of me. It really is. I'm kind of just a vessel for other people and other forces to like work through. And that's really what this is. So yeah, I mean, it's an important distinction. Once you get to a certain point, you really begin to internalize that. It's a very healthy place to be. I'd much rather somebody arrive there and stay there than, like get all up in their own head about the achievements they've made. And I don't care what level you're at, I think that's true for everybody. I think people can experience a feeling of ego at $3,000 a month in profit. They can experience a feeling of ego at $1 million a month in profit. It really is, it doesn't matter where you're at. It's a choice whether you're going to have arrogance or not. It's a choice whether you're going to credit the people that have allowed you to get there or not. It's a choice whether you're going to recognize that everybody's, human at the end of the day or not. One of the things that's going on recently that's really challenging me is all the Black Lives Matter stuff going on outside my window. I have people protesting outside my window, and I'm watching it go down. And the biggest lesson for me there is that everybody's human and everybody has problems, and that, if you're going through something as crazy as that, like, yeah, you should speak up. But really, it's like, it's challenged me because, I probably a year or two ago, I was the kind of guy who would think, like, in general, like, it's not a problem. Like, I wouldn't assume that other people have like problems if I'm not experiencing it, then I don't have sympathy, right? It's just another thing that entrepreneurship has really fixed for me, is because if you are making sales and you honestly don't care about the result of the sale, like if it's a good investment for somebody, then you like will burn out, because there's like a part of your brain that like measures your honesty. And there's like a willpower there. Like it takes willpower to be selling something you don't believe in. It takes too much willpower to sustain. And so you have to be doing something you believe in order for it to work. Yeah, I feel like I've rambled like all over the place. I'm just realizing like the tie of topics here, like it's just gone freaking everywhere. But I'm trying to figure out like how, like what would somebody who's starting, maybe another person who's 20 years old, want to hear from somebody who's also 20 years old and, has gotten to where he's gotten to in business. Honestly, I would just say, like, don't make it an ego thing. Like, don't make it about you. It's not about you. Like, obviously it's really hard for you to internalize that because you see all these individuals online, particularly like the entrepreneurial space is filled with people. It's talking heads. It's people that say, look at me, buy my thing. And I'm no different. Like, I've got offers, like, the 6-figure marketing consultant, for example. I'm flying out our top students. We have like over 10, coming up on like 20 students at $10,000 a month in profit. And I'm having them all out for steak soon, which would be really cool. So, I've got an offer and it works great. But you just got to be aware that, those people who are talking heads, the ones who succeed are the ones who don't care about eyes and genuinely just care about like stats and like data and like, how many of these views turn into sales, how many of these Facebook group members turn into clients. Like that's the power of being a talking head, is the numbers behind it, right? It's not about eyes. And when you can really disassociate from the eyes, I would honestly rather have an audience of like 1,000 people if every single one were to pay like 10 grand versus an audience of, 1 million and everybody's paying $10, because it's just easier to manage and it's more interpersonal. And that's where I'm trying to get my business right now, actually. That's why I'm not too obsessed with going viral on YouTube. I'm just more doing it just because it's a great source of education, clients. Do I need to do it to sustain this? No, I could stop uploading YouTube videos tomorrow and be fine. I've got plenty of methods of attracting agency clients and other forms of work that I do. So, yeah, I mean, what's it like? It's amazing. I love it. It's beautiful. It's a setup for an amazing life. I think, I have more opportunity than I even really realize I have. It's pretty incredible. I have like a call, for example. I'm doing a joint venture. Sorry, I forgot the name of it, and also I had to sneeze. Joint venture with a buddy of mine. My eyes are getting so red. See that? I had to sneeze really bad. Joint venture with a buddy of mine, and we're just gonna be promoting my program. And one partnership with a buddy is gonna add like 20-30 grand a month to my income. Then I've got another partnership coming up with another guy who's got his own online audience, and he wants to do like a mastermind with me. And all I have to do is hop on like a weekly Q&A call for like an hour, and that's adding like 10 grand a month to my income. And then also, I'm building systems to like attract better clients into the agency. So I'll be pouring a lot of those profits back into spending on ads to get sales calls, and then hiring on a sales rep to handle that for me. And hopefully that, 30-40% close rate there would be nice. And that's like, another 6 to 7 clients a month. And I just want to have a team of VAs handling work, or like a real team of real people that I care about. Yeah. So I don't know, I can't even tell you what it's like, because I'm just like, I started this video thinking I'd be able to tell you what it's like, but honestly it's just normal. And when at that point, that's when it gets special, is when it's normal. It's no longer cool, it's just normal. You're just doing it just because it's what you do. And you want to get to that point. You don't want to idolize these things. If you idolize it, if you put it on a pedestal, it will be hard to reach, and you won't be able to make the right decisions if you do achieve it. Like if you do get to a point where you are at like my level or somebody else's level that you look up to, you won't be able to maintain it, because it's on this pedestal. It's like you're idolizing it. You're thinking it's something that it's not. But just start where you are. Like if you are at 0, get your first client, man. Like just get one, and I promise you that is a $1 million move for you, as long as you let that 1 turn into 2, let that 2 turn into 4. You do well for all of them, collect testimonials and reinvest those testimonials and those profits into getting more clients and building a team. And like, that 0 to 1 is a $1 million move if you use it right. And that's something that I really think a lot of people need to hear. Like that is not a small thing. Like 0 to 1 is a big deal. Do it. Just do the 0 to 1. Don't wait on that. Don't wait for permission. Just do it. Yeah, I don't know what it's like, because honestly it's hard for me to think back, because I've just made this my norm. I guess if I were to look back at myself, the version of me that was doing like $4,000 or $5,000 a month and thought I was a baller, I really wish I could get him out of his own head, because that was a pretty sad place to be. Like I honestly thought I was I thought I was incredible. I thought I was the freaking crap. And it sucked too, because I hung around a group of people that like enjoyed like media and press, and so I got on like Forbes, and I got on like Inc, and I got on all these like magazines and stuff. Like and I remember this one article about me that was like just praising me just ruthlessly, and it went straight to my head. And I was like, I had to really get over that. So that's honestly the biggest thing. Like once I got over my ego, things moved way quicker. Things just moved way quicker. So yeah, like I know most of the entrepreneurs that I know that are at a $50,000 a month or more level, pretty much every single one that I know is just a genuinely good human being. And they work on themselves, and they're aware of their faults. One of my biggest faults, and this is probably interesting for a lot of you to hear, probably one of my biggest faults is not being able to maintain my mental state. So like, I have huge highs and huge lows, and every entrepreneur does. Like if you're watching any entrepreneur online, they're going to like sell you on like the fact that the way that they're doing it is perfect, and it just doesn't exist. I have huge highs and huge lows. Like, I will have like $16,000, $20,000 days, and then I'll go 3 or 4 days making nothing and actually losing like $5,000. And like, it's just freaking crazy. Like the massive highs and massive lows that come with entrepreneurship. It is just an absolute roller coaster. And so that is my biggest like fault right now, is I'm unable to manage my mental state, because, you know, my personality type, like, I'm super attached to my work, and when my work isn't succeeding, I feel like a failure. So like if I have like a slow week, like I question everything. Like I question literally everything down to like the friends that I have in my life, like the books I've read, like my girlfriend, like should I be with her? Like I question everything. And this is something you'll probably experience as well. Like if things slow down, it makes you just feel invalid for a moment, and you have to really like get back to that place of feeling valid again. So I have to detach my like identity from my work. That's my biggest thing. So if I do that, I feel like I can move another level. I think if I can detach my identity from my work, I would move up another level. Probably. I'd still be passionate about my work, but I wouldn't let it define me. I'm a man defined by like character and like principles, not my work. So yeah, cool. That is it. I'm gonna end the video here. This has been all over the place, absolutely all over the place. But like this is just genuinely what it's like. Like this is what it's like to be at 20 years old, you know, doing $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month. We did $80,000 total collected last month. This month we're on track to do slightly less, probably more like $50,000, $60,000 collected. But we'll see. I mean, it could change. Yeah, that's what it's like. Hopefully this video was valuable for you. You know, I'm just trying to be like as uncut and just like talking and as raw as I can be, because I feel like it's valuable. It's just valuable to hear what's on somebody's mind, and particularly, you know, I've got a lot of people who look up to me, which I'm honored by, and I just want them to know how I'm thinking. And I've also got a lot of people like, you know, who learn directly from me in regards to their business, and I never get super personal on this channel. But I'm planning on changing that, because I think it's really valuable for you guys, and it's valuable for me to have a real interpersonal connection with the people that I do business with and the people that watch me online. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video.